It's that time again for EverQuest's Next Into the Portal. Your hosts for this evening are Geekdomo, Lock 6 Time, and Trendane. Let's get to the show right about now. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Trendane has a lampshade on his head.
Oh, sorry. Oh, I was wondering what that was.
They said it was a dunce cap.
No,
you guys look so cool on your photos, and I look like I've been packed outside a club somewhere.
well, it's rather late for you, so.
It could have been. Very well. Could have been.
Whereas I'm still recovering from a sugar binge from last night, so.
Tren. Really?
Did you go? So it was Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
Did you do anything special?
Well, see, I used to do a lot of mascot work for like 10 years, like a lot of it.
So you have a furry outfit.
if I could turn the camera that way, there's an entire room dedicated to the construction of them. But I used to do it professionally, like a lot. And wow, you've got your external speakers on, don't you?
Is it too loud?
Well, it's echoing a little bit.
On your end, I'm sorry.
No, it's. I can hear it coming through your microphone, I think, so.
Oh, weird.
There. Okay.
We're getting better at the tech issues, boss.
Yes. No, it's okay. I apologize. I have something special to show you guys later.
Oh, really?
And it involved all these cables.
Ooh.
So, there might be an echo. There might be some technical difficulties tonight. I have had my computer in pieces for days. So, okay. So go ahead, Trendane, finish your story. Is the echo better, by the way?
Yeah, it's gone.
It's gone. Okay.
It just sounded like things were going through your speaker and then going back into your microphone.
It might have been. I could put the headphones on, but then that won't work for our secret thing later. So.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
So usually Halloween is kind of my night off because I do costume stuff all the time. I did do costume stuff all the time, and I was gonna wear my housemate's big polar bear costume last night and pass out candy, but the helmet is really small on the inside, so it kind of crushes my head. And no, I don't want. It's too uncomfortable. I don't want to do that.
There we go. I got rid of the echo. Is this better? Can you guys hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Technical difficulty. We have it every show.
We have to. It's part of the show. It's the fourth guest.
It is lag or technical difficulties. All right, Locke. What did you dress up as?
Pirate Ninja Viking chef.
Druid. Don't forget Druid.
Druid.
I was at work. I'm not gonna lie. We had a great time at work. We have really nice customers. But I was at work. I was making food for people.
Were you dressed as a chef?
I was dressed as a chef. I wear blacks instead of whites where I work. So I like to say that I'm a Viking ninja chef.
And the squid ink ice cream doesn't stain as much.
It's a speciality. It's very hard to do. But yeah, that was my night. I'm ashamed to say. But someone's got to do it, right? Someone's got to look after everyone.
Boy, I'm just not on the ball tonight. Look, I left Q&A time up. It is not Q&A time.
All the time is Q&A time.
All the time is Q&A. So for myself, I have 2 children. So we went out trick-or-treating, and we went to a friend's house who lives in like the ghetto of the city I live in. And so I set up. We went over there, and I took my smoke machine, and I got my whole costume on, and it was just a lot of fun. My smoke machine, I figured out how to make it go turbo smoke, and I literally smoked the entire street, and it was so cool because it was really warm last night and kind of damp, so that all the smoke settled, and the whole street had a layer of like Thriller fog, like from Thriller, that low hanging. Yeah, it was awesome. So it was cool.
No.
The whole street got contact high. Now that would be good smoke. but I didn't use that smoke. I used legal smoke.
That's amazing.
Trendane has a jet flying overhead.
Is it?
I think it's the Air Force.
Is it? Maybe
Yeah,
we're
well,
being invaded.
The NASA Ames Air Force Base is like right over there, and I'm right in the glide path. So
Nice. It's always the best apartments. They get them really cheap when you're in the glide path for a military base.
this is a house.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Well, you said you had a guy living above you that was like sawing something the other night, so I thought you lived in an apartment.
No,
I'm
that was
sorry.
next door.
Oh.
What are we doing?
This is topic number 1.
Yeah, we haven't got
What's
to
up with your life?
Yeah, what's up with your life?
It's just getting worse. It's starting. So it's amazing.
Well, at least we're still streaming.
Sorry,
The computer
I'm
hasn't
sorry.
crashed yet, which it did 4 times when we were making the call. Okay. So
And I know that's not tea. What are you drinking? It's some kind of soda.
Vodka.
I couldn't see what it was.
he drinks Dr. Pepper. That's his thing.
It had a weird label on it. It's right next to you. Grab the bottle. Okay, it's not as weird as I thought it was.
Yeah, it's just regular Dr. They have a weird sized bottle, though. Their 1 liter is weird. Okay. Topic 1, tangent, yes. Everybody, this is EverQuest Next Into the Portal, a real EverQuest Next discussion, and we always do this in the beginning of the show, just kind of BS for a couple minutes, make sure everyone can get here, and then we can get all our tech issues figured out. So I think we can roll now.
Okay.
I think. Knock on wood.
Just wanted to point out, it is about EverQuest Next. You haven't just tuned into like 3 old guys rambling about.
I had somebody making mean comments said
planes
that
going over. If I don't, it was under a flight path.
somebody said we are 3 neckbeards with no understanding of reality or something. And I'm going, I don't have a neckbeard. I know Locke doesn't for sure.
I can only speak for myself. But no, I have very little understanding of reality.
Now, that definitely was right, but I didn't like the neckbeard part. Okay,
Yeah.
So we have something cool tonight. We normally do the question and answer, which is the normal way we do it. And for that, you guys just write question in brackets, like you see some people in the chat are doing right now. And once you've written the questions in, we have Maka, who's here now. She's our moderator, and she's going to take those questions and put them into the chat, so we will get to them later. But we have something else that's neat tonight. We're going to try it out. You guys are our guinea pig audience to see if this is going to work. We have a phone in. You can phone us up. I'll give you the number in a little bit. You literally can call into the show and you can ask your question live on the air, make comments, or if you get really crazy, I can just turn it off. So if you start insulting my mother or something like that.
Turn off his mic.
So yeah.
So you got to be good. You got to be good.
Yeah, no, you just call into the show and you can talk to us about EverQuest Next or whatever when we get to the Q&A part. All right, so let's get on with the show. Topic number 1, global vaults. Locke, would you like to fill us in on where this topic came from and what your thoughts are on it initially?
I would absolutely love to. This week, over on EQ Nexus, someone found me on the forums. It was, I want to get the name right, it was Snowman Wilk, I want to say. Never had to say it out loud.
Right.
Got in touch with me on the EQ Nexus forums, and we had a little chat about what...
Oh, he's in the audience.
Wilkie.
He is, yeah, he's
Wilkie.
Wilkie. Sorry, mate. We had a little chat about how the idea of the vaults that we saw in the Break It, Take It, Make It development diary video would impact the global economy of EverQuest Next. And so here we are, and we're gonna have a little chat about that.
Little chin wag, as you say.
Little chin wag. Is that a British thing?
It
Or
is
that-
totally. We don't wag our chin unless you get a double chin.
Chin wag, governor. Sorry, I can't do a British accent.
No, clearly not.
Terrible. All right.
Leave that to me.
So, what is the overall thought about this? The vaults that they were talking about are going to be, you'll be able to build a vault somewhere that's yours, and you'll be able to put stuff in it anytime you want, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, wherein lies the problem with this system that they're mentioning?
Well, if you can build something to store items, that's absolutely fine. But what they said in the development diary was that you could build another vault somewhere else on a different plot, and you'd be able to access the same items from the two different points, much like a bank would work in a normal MMO. And we talk a lot on this show about how the economy is going to work. There's still the raging debate about whether it should be a global or local auction houses, or if there should even be auction houses at all. And a big part of that is because a lot of people want to. A lot of people. We see a lot of people asking for movement of resources to be an important thing within the game. And obviously this kind of means that if you just have two vaults, you can immediately transport as much material as you want all the way across the world without having to worry about it, which takes a lot of the play out of that side of the game, the trading side. I'm terribly sorry, a little bit of Dr. Pepper.
Coming back to bite you.
Yeah, coming back on me. So I suppose that's the question, isn't it? Is it going to be an economy breaking thing, or is it going to be just a convenience feature that we're not going to be able to do without in Landmark? I think Live It Up's just said in chat it'll be in Landmark but less likely in EQM, and yeah. I would probably go along with that. I'd say in EverQuest Next Landmark, it makes a lot of sense, because if you have to build it, it means you can only build one on your plot that you have. Mm-hmm. So first and foremost, you're going to have to either have another plot, or you're going to have permission to build on another plot before you can even do that. So will players exploit it? Probably. Well, definitely. Players will always exploit systems like this. But will that be meaningful? I think in Landmark we're probably gonna see a lot more kind of fluid exchange of materials for building, because they want people to be able to sort of freely build whatever they want in a given area, because obviously that's better for the players, because it gives them more freedom of choice in what they build, and ultimately it's better for Sony as well if people can build things easier and people can build more elaborate things easier. More things in the player studio, more money going through the game. Everyone's a winner. Yay!
So Omeed just popped in. He says you can also use your friend's vault to access your stuff. Also, hi Omeed.
Oh, you can use your friend's vault to access your stuff, but would that have to be on a plot that you had permission to build on? Or I suppose this is stuff that's going to be worked out in beta, isn't it?
Yeah, we'll probably get a more of it clarified. What are your thoughts on this trend, Dane?
A couple of them.
Okay.
Oh, you want to know what they are?
Yes, please elaborate.
It does make for a better show if we actually communicate these ideas.
Yeah. Thinking things.
We could all just stare into our cameras for a couple hours. That would be terribly avant-garde.
Yeah, with like some kind of show I could see in France or something like that with just Finn at the end,
There's not quite enough sneer for that, but anyway. And apologies to all the French people in our audience.
Oh, yes.
We didn't mean it. We meant that.
I did.
I was just going to say the Englishman probably meant that.
Yeah.
So, because we know you guys love each other so much. Anyway, so first and foremost, it reminded me of an old gypsy wives' tale, not wives' tale, but an old gypsy belief that whenever we're separated from our family and whatnot, we're not really separated because all campfires are connected by their smoke. So we're all sitting at the same campfire no matter how far apart we are.
That's cool.
Kind of ties in with that in an extremely tangential kind of way. But I can see, again, like you were saying, Locke, I can see in Landmark, I can see it being, and I keep casting shadows on my face. It's like a Chinese shadow puppet theater. I can see in Landmark it being very, very crucial to making building a lot easier. And I can see it being somewhat detrimental in EverQuest Next proper. So what they're going to have to do is they have to even, at least in my opinion, they have to even further push. These are not the same game, because people are going to get used to doing it in Landmark. And if they don't have it, when EverQuest Next comes around, they're going to flip their shit and they're going to freak out and they're going to say, damn it, I want this back. And either, Sony's going to cave and give it to them, which is going to make the game easier, and they're going to start pushing towards WoW, where enough people bitch about something, they push the easy button, and it detracts from some of the really nice aspects of the immersive aspects of the game. Or they're going to say, no, this is our game, this is the way we wanted to build it, and they're going to have to deal with the fact that they're going to lose some of the lazier subscribers.
I agree. Absolutely.
I think it'll partly depend on how important the economy and moving materials around the world is. I think obviously if it's an important part of the economy, it'll have to be something that they just say flat no. But then as well in EQ Next, how could it work? The idea of building a vault, we don't even know how we're going to be able to build housing and guild halls and all the other wonderful things that have been hinted at. So would we even be able to connect anything to anywhere? It's in terms of player permissions, friends permissions of moving, but then you really get into the exploit territory if you can allow your friends within EverQuest Next to be able to move things. So it would break a big part of the game, if that is part of the game. So we probably have to stick to their guns. But I think in Landmark, I think it's a necessary system. I think it encourages cooperative building, which is good. I think it encourages creative building, which is good. Hopefully, if we have to go out and really explore and find those hard to reach materials in the first place, I think that would be cool. I think if there's a strong exploration element in Landmark, but then once you have found the stuff, if it's quite easy to share it with other people, that will probably be of a benefit to everyone. So that's a little talk. What do we think, Wilkie? Are you gonna chime in on this, or has he got depressed? Hearing us go on about
would Wilkie like to call in? We could try out our new thing with Wilkie. He could actually give us his thoughts on this.
Let's experiment on that. Wait.
Yes, this is a guinea pig show, by the way.
It's been a really interesting conversation so far on Nexus, though. We've been kind of going back and forth, and it really does. It's one of those foundational things within the game that really everything after it kind of relies on it to a certain extent. If you have a game where, as they've said, crafting is very important to the game, it's going to be one of the things they want players to be spending a lot of time doing. Things like, how you store materials and how you move materials become very important.
Absolutely.
As it just goes through every aspect of the game, from gearing your character, which a lot of people think, a lot of people find that incredibly important. It's an RPG. Getting new gear for your character is important. It has effects on that. Has effects on housing if you're a more social player. Has effects on, building things for the game, which we're going to be able to do. And it's an important issue.
It does bring up a point that Wilkie was just saying that are we going to see giant stone structures that you might not normally see in mountainous areas, and then instead in the desert. So but that's the whole point of commerce and trade, right? That you want to be able to buy wood from some area and take it to your desert area, which has no wood, and build your house out of wood.
But I think within Landmark as a building game, I think being able to juxtapose in that way and being able to use foreign materials quite easily within your builds, I think will add so much to the possibilities. For the while, obviously there's going to be that super hardcore core of people that are going to be able to get what they want no matter what, like the people who are amazingly good at playing the trading posts and things. And
I like that part of the game. I did that in EverQuest.
Yeah, exactly. I think a system like this, it encourages cooperation, and I think it opens. Having it more open in that way for Landmark, I think if it encourages creativity within building, then I think that's a good thing. Landmark, it's one of those things. A lot of the stuff people build isn't going to be that good. This is the thing. Most of it's going to be pretty average. You know what I mean? But at least give people the opportunity to be creative with what they're building. You don't want to see 10,000 of the same house made out of the stone that's easiest to acquire in the area. It's not really benefiting anyone, is it?
Right.
I don't think. So yeah, give people the tools, give people the the materials to just go nuts and at least make something interesting.
In line with part of what you said, it made me also just visualize that if you were in a mountainous region, I would expect, versus something in a desert region, I would expect to see a statue in a mountainous region carved from the thing, but is clearly one piece. Whereas something that is constructed in the desert will clearly be blocks that have been stacked on top of each other. At least that would be, in my imagination, that would be the distinction, that one is clearly constructed of individual pieces and the other has been carved from one gigantic, like straight out of the mountain, as opposed to individual things.
Right.
No real bearing on what you were talking about, but
Okay.
Yeah, it's aesthetic choices like that, because that's a great idea. It'd be brilliant if you were building on the mountain to have it, what's it called, the thing in America with the president's faces on it, Mount
Rushmore.
Mount Rushmore, yeah.
Mount Rushmore. I know that because of the Wes Anderson movie. So Mount Rushmore. If you had something like that in a mountainous region, you wouldn't be able to do that in a desert. That would differentiate it for sure. But at least the possibility is there for people to be able to, push it creatively within Landmark. Obviously, EverQuest Next is a entirely different beast. So, Trendane, are you popular? Did I just?
yeah, I think it's.
Has someone retweeted something?
Yeah,
I
and
tweeted your guys' names. I'm sorry, I forgot to tweet. We had all those technical difficulties. I never got to do my, hey, we're going to be doing live tweets. So
I forgot to mute all my stuff.
I love that.
It's like
both
my,
of you were like, somebody loves me on Twitter.
it's like my daily vlog. Whenever I do that at night, I always forget to turn these things off, and it is freaky how often I'll be recording my vlog and I'll be like last night. I said, "Hey everybody, happy bang," and they both go, "Oh my god!" Every time.
Sorry, my bad. All right, on to topic number dos.
21st century is that? That's hilarious.
I know. It's first world problems.
Sorry.
Yeah.
God, I was just interrupted on my tweet. God. Okay, who's going to be the first person to build the giant statue of Omeed in Landmark?
Omeed.
Omeed will?
No, he's got minions to do.
Minions. He's recruiting them right now. He's recruiting them right now on Twitter.
It reminds me of that Futurama episode where they were all slaves building the big statue of, what's his name? I couldn't think of his name.
It's okay. I hardly ever watch Futurama, so I don't know what it is.
Bender, yes. So it's they are all building this great, big, huge monster statue of Bender. Go.
Omeed says, great idea. So it is written, so shall it be.
Thank you, Mr. Brenner.
Things didn't turn out so well for Bender in that one. Okay, topic number 2, new roundtable response and question. So the roundtable response was to will we have many characters and many guilds, a la EQ or Guild Wars 2, or are we going to do single person, single guild? And so yeah, what are your gentlemen's thoughts on that?
Okay, I guess I'll go first.
Yeah, go ahead. You go first. This
if it's for crafting stuff, I can easily see you being part of a stonemasons guild, a Fletcher's guild, a carpenter's guild, a Wainwright's guild, a shipwright's guild, whatever. I can see that. If we're talking, proper guilds like what we would see in WoW or whatever else, no.
Yeah.
It feels less right that way. I could see you being part of one guild. This is your adventuring guild, and then the rest of them are professional guilds that you're part of. At least that's the way I see it.
Absolutely. So, what do you think, Locke?
I agree with Trendane. I think that a guild should be for a thing. I don't think. I'd rather see us be able to join multiple guilds of multiple types, but in the way that Guild Wars 2 did, it's the example a lot of people use. But Guild Wars 2, you can join multiple guilds, but they're all completely separate. There's no way to link any of those at all, so it becomes like a series of islands, which never really had connections between. I think when they were designing the game, they expected to be they expected people to be kind of hopping in and out of different guilds and like spending time with different groups of people to do different things. And I think they thought it was going to happen organically. But as what tends to happen is you get sort of groups based on real life groups of friends, and you get really really massive like sort of casual just massive like mega guilds where it's just people who want to be able to play with other people at the drop of a hat. And then you get like the hardcore raiding guilds, and it all felt like there was no real sort of movement between any of them. And one thing that David Georgeson said early on, which I really really liked, is that they want a lot of different types of players kind of all together, sort of influencing each other and actually improving the play experience by having those different points of view in. And I think a guild system these days, it's one of those things like you really feel like there could have been more iteration and progression on a system which at the moment a one guild system is basically you have your one group of friends and it gives you a tag above your name and another chat channel, and what else is it? You can give people ranks. Why? You can have structure, but it doesn't facilitate social interaction beyond that one little unit. There's nothing else coming from the outside, and there's nothing going out from it either, other than the overall reputation of the guild. But I'd like to see a system where it was more fluid, like there was more play between an alliance system, what Trendane was talking about, different schools of crafting and things, just to get people mixing a bit more.
Yeah. There's Star Citizen. I don't know if you're following it that much.
I'm familiar with it.
I know Trendane is. He's on this show there. But no, it's fine. But Star Citizen has a really great idea, and there are different guild types that you can set up. And I'm not saying they have to copy this. I'm just saying I'm using this as an example of another modern MMO that's coming out with some different ideas for guilds. You can come in as like a corporation, which you would have a president, vice president, CFO, CEO, and you set it up just like a corporation, and you have people in different departments that do different things. And you also have sort of a military style, which you got a general or supreme commander, then you got his generals, and you have all the underlings underneath there. But then you can also have a cult, which is a single person that everybody reports to directly. What was some of the other ones, Trending? There was the different there's a corporation.
Yeah, I remember the different
military
organizations.
Yeah. Each one has its own sort of benefits and pros and cons. So I don't know if they would ever consider implementing a multi-structure type of guild system, but I think maybe that would be pretty cool to see that.
Yeah, I love the idea of multi-structures. It's interesting. A lot of the negative feedback from having multiple guilds seems to be people saying, if you have multiple guilds, then there's no loyalty. You can't keep people in your guild if they can just leave. And I'm like, well, your guild can't be that good. Is that really loyalty?
That's oppression. But there are people that like that. There's people,
though, isn't it? So
yeah.
You get people going, "Oh, I don't put all this effort into running my guild, so people can just leave." It's like surely part of your job in running a guild is attracting people, making people want to stay with you, and look at all those other guilds and go, "Oh, they look fine, but not for me."
Right.
To me, that's more like loyalty. The idea
but if you were to role play it out.
But sticking with the one because you're like, this is my girl. I have a great time with them. They're really good friends. Not like, oh, I could leave, but I'm a sub raiding officer for the second raid team, and if I stick it out through this round of raiding, I might become a class officer for something. It's silliness, isn't it?
It is,
really?
But certain people like that kind of thing. There are people that are players that want to be told what to do all the time.
Yeah, exactly. Which is why different guild structures, and as you were saying, the way they're doing it at Star Citizen, I think is a great idea, because then people have an idea going in what sort of thing it's going to be like. And I think if you had different mechanics for the different groups, if you had different ways that they could be attached to each other in different kind of alliances type systems, I think it could be really interesting. And I've gone full screen, so I feel like I have to talk.
Sorry, that's okay. I was grabbing something because they were talking about building statues to Omeed, and Omeed said he'll give away sweet prizes to people that build a good statue of him. And I thought, this would be a really great statue.
Well, when he says sweet prizes, what he means is like 75% off Halloween candy that he just picked up at the store on the way this morning. Yeah.
I reckon it's just a massive troll, and like day one of Landmark, we're all gonna log in with our brand new characters, and it's just gonna be a sea of Omeed statues, just as far as your computer will render, starting off the same height as your character and just getting gradually taller.
All
and
with
taller.
different haircuts.
All with different haircuts, every single one.
I want to see Afro Mead.
I want that Domo head. Big.
Fromead.
Yes, this is the Argonath, I think they were called, from Lord of the Rings.
Yes, the Argonath. Yeah.
Argonath, yep. I have both of them, but I didn't just grab the one. Okay, so, yeah, I guess that's good. What are your thoughts there, Trendane?
About the Argonath?
No.
Oh, about the guild structure thing. I think that as long as it's not a dynamic, if they're going to do the way that we just mentioned about it in, excuse me, oh my god,
oh no, he's gone full Harvey.
It was the gypsy thing. Omeed wanted me to talk more about gypsy, so I had to bring that up.
Talk as Harvey as a gypsy.
Harvey as a. Oh God, I don't know if I can process that.
Do it. Be funny.
It reminds me of the Flying Karamazov brothers at the Orpheum Theater in Dallas when they did a Comedy of Errors, and the queen of the gypsies was a drag queen, and it's like, sing me a fairy song, my favorite, and I'm just like, oh God, I'm trying desperately. It's just a train wreck. Anyway, no, I'm not going to do Harvey Gypsy or Gypsy Harvey or something. No. But to get back to the point,
okay, back to the point.
Are we going to try to keep this to an hour?
No.
Just checking.
We tried that the other day, and everyone said, "What the hell are you guys thinking? Stopping at an hour?"
Okay, all right. I know. I woke up.
They want
like
to hear us
5 minutes
ramble for 5 hours.
I woke up like 5 minutes before we started doing this show, so I wasn't sure if we were keeping it to a time.
You got the face.
Sure, puffy bags under my eyes. Ooh, I wonder if I could do the thing with my mouth and my eyes at the same time.
Dexella is in the audience tonight, and so she will leave instantly when you do that.
Gone. So, much like you were saying about Star Citizen with the guild structure there, if they were to do something similar where you could pick which kind of guild you wanted to have, fine, that would be great, so long as they are not dynamic, and they don't change once you've. Then it's up to the player or the style that they want, the guild master, and to communicate to the people who are that they're trying to recruit exactly what kind of guild that they are.
Okay.
Don't blame Sony for that crap.
No, it's good. All right. So the response or the new question. What is the new question this week? I forgot it already.
It's the moddable UI.
Moddable UI. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And so the question is really nicely asked, and then it basically says, "Do we think that we should have moddable UIs in EverQuest Next?" I have very strong opinions about this, but I can let one of you guys go first, or I can just start ranting right now if you want.
I say you go first.
All right,
yeah, Locke went first. I went first.
That's my turn.
Get on it.
So my opinion is there are certain types of UIs that you should be able to mod. Okay, to an extent, they should allow certain things. And actually, do I have a Domo cam so I can let you guys drink?
We can drink while we're on camera. I don't care.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Hell, if I want to, I'll just lean my throat right up against the microphone and chug as fast as I can.
So anyway, the type of... Yeah, there was some bad lag there, right? That was really bad. Sorry about that, everybody. The moddable UI, that is okay. I would think it's fine if we have elements that we can move around the screen. Like you want to move your action bar a little bit to the left, and you want to move your health meter a little bit to the right, whatever. Those are fine. I'm totally cool for that. And if there are certain add-ons that help you sort of do some economic type things, cool with that too. Totally fine. The add-ons that I do not want to see in EverQuest Next are ones like Recount. Now, people who might not know what I'm talking about, Recount is a combat parser, and it takes the data that comes in as you're doing damage. You know, you hit a mob for 5 points of damage, and you hit him for 10 points of damage, and blah, blah, blah. And it parses that out, and it gives a little bar to say exactly how well you're performing. Now, for yourself, excellent. If you want to sit there and see how well you're doing, so you can say, okay, this rotation works better because I can kill the thing a little bit quicker. Okay, fine. But it never works out that way. It turns into everybody can see exactly how much damage you're doing, and then you get called out for being a moron because you don't have this type of gear and you're not doing this much DPS, and it ruins the game. It really does. It took World of Warcraft and turned it into a DPS fest. Okay, so you're going to say something, Trent. Go ahead.
I was going to say it doesn't ruin the game, it alters it.
Okay, alters,
It
yes.
changes what the game is.
It does. It changed it from being, I'm out killing a snake and I'm just having fun killing snakes, to I need to kill snakes in 3.2 seconds because this guy says I have to. And it's and in deadly boss mods is another thing. Okay, now's the time we move to the left, and now's the time we move to the right. Run away, little girl. It just turns into crap, right? That destroyed World of Warcraft for me. Those kind of things, even though they did make it easier, it took away a bit of the game's soul. You give up a little bit for something else, and what it did was it took away some of its soul. So yeah, I guess that's my rant. I'm sorry. Go ahead. You guys can talk about it now. What do you think?
All right. Log?
Thank you, Trendo. I think it's quite a fashionable thing at the moment in MMO development. It seems they say they want players to be playing the game and not playing the UI, and I think that was where the problem came in for me with mods, especially in World of Warcraft that I played for a long time. I had an absolute crap ton of mods. And it's one of those things, like when you first get them, you think, "Oh my god, this is amazing! It makes everything so much better and so much easier." And then you realize after a while that you're not really playing a game anymore. You're not. It was Trent said, you are playing a game, but you're not playing you're not playing the game that you originally wanted to play. Or even I was a tank for a long time, and you could get what were they called? Tidy plates was a mod that it changed the health bar over mob's head, and you could get a threat plates thing for it, so it would display above every mob's head whether you had aggro on it or not when it was in combat. And it's things like that where it really does take you out of the game completely. And I think things like recount, I think, are annoying because it encourages a certain style of play, like as Domo was saying about min-maxing, which is irritating. But personally, I'd rather play a game where things like recount, like the purpose of combat wasn't to do as much damage as possible. And I hope to play another game where keeping threat and keeping aggro on mobs isn't just a question of the bar above their head being a certain color, until someone overtakes you. It's like, I would really love in an MMO, I would really love a fight to feel like a fight. I'd like it to be sort of chaotic and for interesting things to happen, and for things like we might see in this game of like the floor collapsing or a wall falling over, or mobs that could actually put up physical barriers between them and us, or mobs that were smart enough to know like when to use, or to actually have defensive abilities and be smart enough to know when to use those defensive abilities if they were taking a certain amount of damage per second. Things like that that we've been told about in the game, I think, limit the effectiveness of things like recount. I think that the AI system that we've been told about, I think maybe something like deadly boss mods wouldn't be able to work in the same way, because it wouldn't be able to just time a fight and tell us what was going to happen. So I think the real culprits, if you like, of UI mods probably won't be as effective as they were. But then there's other things to consider, like auction house mods could potentially be useful. Be a bit disastrous.
You don't think it'd be useful?
Do I think auction house mods would be useful?
Like for people who are really bad at math.
I think they'd be incredibly useful, but that's the problem, isn't it? If you create a mod that gives a player a significant advantage in any part of the game, you can argue the effectiveness of in combat mods and say things like, oh well, you don't need DBM, you can just learn the fight, and that's absolutely true. But to a certain extent, that's only true when you're repeating the same content over and over and over again. And I think with something like an auction house mod, you'd be insane not to have it, because it takes all of your personal effort out of doing it. And yes, some people are a lot better at that than other people, but
Entrepreneurial types.
at the same time, it just makes it a required thing, and it makes it part of the game. And when developers have to start designing around mods, then something's gone a bit wrong there. So that was a long rambling talk about what I generally think. My response on the official forums was something to the extent of, I think skins would be great. Mm-hmm. I think that mods are a wonderful thing to put in the player studio, and I hope that the modding community that's been doing such fantastic work for so long on so many different games, and has improved my experience. Like the Skyrim UI.
Oh, beautiful!
The redoing of the Skyrim UI is totally, it's almost. I mean, something like that is almost required for the PC version, but just because it's better.
It's better. And what about all the graphical updates that they have?
Yeah, exactly. And I hope that people like that, have an opportunity to make some money out of the brilliant work that they've been doing. But
I'm not just saying the nudie skin, which is a lot of fun.
But obviously, it's one of those. It's difficult to talk about, isn't it? Because you're saying, yeah, it's great, and you want these people to be able to profit from their work, but at the same time, if it feels like it's required, then I think that would be a shame. But I'm hoping the game is designed in such a way that the real bad ones aren't as effective as they could be. So yeah, it's rant.
It's all right. / rant. All right, Chendane, what are your thoughts? You're going to say I agree.
Nice and simple. No, I think when I first logged into EQ2 after like a year and a half away, things had changed so that you could, move segments of the UI, and I was like, oh my god, and I started, moving everything around. I was like,
EQ1?
okay, this is awesome. EQ2. I've never played EQ1.
Oh, EQ1 did that too. It was like anyway, it changed.
And I thought, okay, that's really cool. And when I first read this question, that's what I thought they were talking about. And then I realized, no, they're talking about more than just that, because I actually stopped and read the different answers. I was like, oh, okay. Helps so much when you read the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's like quest text. Read it all. There's important information in there. I can't find this.
Every last word.
I skipped through a lot of quest text.
This is why I do narrations. Anyway, one of the things that they did in WoW, when we're talking about changing the UI, not just rearranging it, but actually changing it, one of the things that I really liked was there was one that it put your health and mana bars around, the center of the screen, so you didn't have to look all the way over there, to see it. You were in the middle of a fight, and you could see it really easily in your peripheral vision. And I thought that was really, really awesome. That was great. That didn't alter the game for me. That didn't, make it, okay, I have to hit this button in exactly 0.6 seconds if I want to get the maximum DPS out of this thing. Altering some of the elements to making them easier to see or hide them better, like what we were talking about with Skyrim and with Fallout New Vegas. This is why I love watching Gopher's Let's Plays on YouTube. Plug. Because he covers a lot of UI mods and stuff that really add to the game by taking away, in my opinion, from the UI and make it as minimalist but still fully functional as possible, which I really, really enjoy.
Me too. I don't like 80,000 buttons at the bottom of the screen, which is what WoW turned into. You didn't use half or 3/4 of them. You only used like 5 or 6. So
that's a whole different conversation. It's the impression of complexity, isn't it? When they make it more and more complicated to make it feel like you're doing something that you're not.
Really powerful minimalism is that. That's it in a nutshell. It's incredibly complex, but it looks simple. That's where. Yeah. But that takes art. That's art. That's a very artistic thing to be able to pull that off. To be very minimalist, but be powerful at the same time.
How many abilities do you have in Portal?
Right.
How many abilities do you have in Limbo? How much UI is there in Limbo?
Amazing. That's a great example because you got fire and jump. Pretty much it, right?
There's crouch. There's crouch
and and you can. But
which completely alters the mechanics and ruins the game.
Crouch. Who let that in there?
Oh, it just takes out my immersion completely. But that's something I get annoyed about, and it comes up a lot in the whole no Trinity conversation, which seems to have gone away now. It's one of those.
People are more relaxed. The art one too.
But it's one of those sky is falling moments, isn't it, where people are surprised by something, they feel personal.
The sky is falling.
Exactly.
Very good chicken, by the way.
Thank you.
All right, so let's move on. We're taking a long time with these topics.
Oh, interesting point. The Seamus James just brought up the hey Seamus just brought up the red circles that we saw in the thing. Wild speculation of the week. Will there will be no red circles?
Yes.
For Christmas.
Wild speculation of the week. No red circles.
The red circles is another thing. It's people get annoyed by it because they think it dumbs down the game, and they think that. They think it makes it too easy and too casual friendly. You don't have to learn the fight or whatever. And then they say, you can do it just with tells from the boss. The way I see it is the red circles that is a tell. It's just more visually obvious. It's exactly the same thing. It's just on a sliding scale. It's just something to make you aware that something is going to happen, in a particular area. And yes, it means you don't have to learn the fight. But, that whole Dark Souls thing, people go on about Dark Souls is difficult. It's not difficult. You just have to keep banging your head against it until you know exactly what's going to happen. Yeah. And to me, just getting, seeing a tell from a boss and going, oh, he's going to do something, and doing something to dodge it or block it, but then, oh, it turns out it's a different ability and now I'm dead. Okay, now I'll go back and do it again. But this time I know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
No. I'm sorry. It's just a sliding scale of what is and what isn't, a telegraph from a boss. And when you're playing like an action-based multiplayer game, where you've got a lot of things happening on the screen that you have to pay attention to at one time, you need things like that because we're human beings. We're not all mega geniuses. And I have to say, a lot of the people that are complaining about red circles, some of them might actually be quite good at the games. Not all of them are going to be tryhards. But even those people that are very good at the games, they have to play with average players. And average players need those red circles, which means good players also need those red circles because they need average players to play with.
Right. Not everybody can be the elitist that way.
Yeah.
Domo, you mentioned during your portion of this rant that, there'd be you could tell from at some point in the fight, a wall was going to collapse or something. Now that is the sort of thing where, a tell from the boss won't really help you. And where I could see where, and what I was thinking about at that moment was, if there's a big red circle on the ground, the wall is going to collapse right here. You need to not be in this space. And then I thought, well, what else would it be? And what I pictured was you got a big boss in an underground, maybe down in the third tier, like you're down in the magma chamber, whatever. And one of the things that he does is he just slams his fist against the roof, and a random section of the arch that's holding up this dome that you're in collapses to the ground. How are you going to know where that thing is going to fall? And I'm like, does the shadow get gradually darker in that area as the thing is getting ready to fall? Instead of having a big glowing circle, it's a slowly darkening shadow, so you know what it is, but it doesn't.
That would work.
But exactly. It's on the same sort of sliding scale of having tells. I mean, the ideal way to do it would be having different graphical elements. I think shadows is an excellent idea, or the whole kind of slowly expanding kind of so you start with a circle that's not very visible, and then it sort of slowly fills up. I can't remember where I saw that, but when it hits the edge of where it is, that's when the attack happens. I think stuff like that is cool. Mm-hmm. But it works on a sliding scale. And Maker's brought up a great point in chat. When she was playing Final Fantasy, most people ignored the circles anyway.
Right, it's fine.
even when they are there.
Yeah.
We always talk World of Warcraft 101, don't stand in the fire. People still do it. In what year are we in? 2013. How many years has Warcraft been out? People
11.
Still stand in the fire.
Yep.
Guild Wars 2 PvE content. It's incredibly forgiving, but people still stand in the red circles that are in Guild Wars 2. You see it all the time in the big giant boss fights. People stand in the red circles. Imagine what it would be like if there were no red circles. Mm-hmm. You'd have to have you'd have to have it to the point where attacks from enemy mobs weren't really punishing at all, because that's the only way that's the only way you could compensate for that. And if a boss is hitting you and it doesn't really hurt, then why do you even care about dodging it in the first place or avoiding the attack in the first place if it doesn't do that much damage? What? I don't know. Obviously, it's not ideal. No designer goes into a meeting room and goes, "Guys, I've got a great idea. We'll put red circles on the ground, and everyone cheers, and there's a woman crying, and someone passes them a baby to kiss, and it's like, this is the greatest thing that's ever happened in game design." No, but it is a necessary evil.
Zara just said a good point, is that there are people with older machines that they need some kind of like simple two-dimensional indicator like that, like a red circle, because they might not be able to see shadows. Their graphics cards might not be able to perform well enough to show all the multiple types of lighting and things that are happening. And I've played on some games on my laptop, which is an old laptop, and I had to turn everything way down just so I could play. And I forget any kind of special lighting. It was pretty blocky and terrible. So, all right.
As well, think about the production costs as well that would be inherent in having to do all these different tells and things. It's just adding money to the production that is unnecessary, really.
All right. So, what is our wild speculation for the week?
Something, I don't know. Was that it?
Okay, yours is red circles. Mine is going to be on November 12th. November 12th, 11, 12, 13 is going to be the announcement for beta for EverQuest Next.
Landmark.
Not Landmark. That is my wild speculation for the week. How about your turn, Dane?
I'm thinking that sometime within the next 2 weeks, we're going to see Sony making an announcement that they're going to put everything on Kickstarter. Oh, wait, they can't do that now thanks to the SEC. Yeah. Never mind. Unless you're going to make the whole damn game for less than $1 million. Let's see. Are we just guessing dates or any kind of...
Any kind of speculation.
Before or after the 12th, Trendane, for a beta announcement?
Before or after the 12th?
Yeah. The 12th is a Tuesday. Not next Tuesday, but Tuesday after.
Tuesday
11, 12,
next.
13.
Tuesday week. I kind of like Tuesday.
Yeah,
I kind of like Tuesday. Yeah, I'm feeling Tuesday.
See, if I had to put money on a big announcement, I'd say, I'd say next Thursday the 7th.
Mm-hmm.
I think it'd be earlier than the 12th, but obviously you don't want to do it too close to the weekend.
Yeah.
So I think maybe
this is just the announcement. It doesn't mean the beta is actually going to start. Maybe they announce it on your day and then actually start it on mine.
Could be, who knows? But I think we are getting to around the time of the 30 days that Dave Georgeson mentioned a while ago. I know that Omeed was on Reddit starting fights with the fan base the other day.
Don't do that, Omeed. Reddit is a cruel mistress. She's bad over there.
I genuinely lolled when I saw that. I thought it was so funny. Anyway, yeah. But he did say around 10, which kind of that puts us at Saturday the 9th, I think, which is my birthday.
You were drunk, huh?
Okay, fair enough.
Omeed, you're always drunk. That's not an excuse. What we're gonna say?
No
is there
Redditing.
Is there gonna be a live stream next Wednesday though? Because they've been talking about that as well. Any confirm, deny? Live stream on Wednesday.
Let's just go ahead and confirm it. We do it for everything else.
Yeah, we are just totally. Remember, everybody, we are not developers. There are some in the audience, but we have no idea what we're talking about. We're just shooting this stuff. Yeah. All right, so here we go. We're going to go on into our next big thing, and here we go. Nope, we're not doing that one. Q&A time.
I don't know why that struck me so funny. It just...
Nope, it's Q&A time. All right, so for Q&A time this week, we got our normal questions that you guys have been writing in during the show. but we're also going to allow you to make a phone call and call in and chat with us. Unfortunately, you can only chat with me, but I'm going to try to make it to where the other guys can hear it. I worked on it for 3 days trying to get it to where people could hear what I was doing, and some of you saw me twitching for like an hour the other day on Twitch trying to figure this out. Unless I can get a professional sound engineer to call me up, this is the way it's going to be. So you can call the number. The number is right up here in the upper right-hand corner of the screen. You may call anybody who's on the stream right now. Go ahead and call in, and I will pick up the call, and we can you can ask a question or make a comment or whatever, and then we can move on. So, right now, what is our first question we're going to have for the evening? This is a question, I don't know who it came from. What different kinds of social groups do you want to see, and do you want to see them all have different functionality or the same functionality? You go.
I want to see whores, and I want to see them all have different functionality.
Very functional whores.
But would some have overlapping functionality as part of that? Like a Venn diagram?
Yeah,
like a Venn diagram.
Like a four-way Venn?
Ooh, four-way. That costs extra. I don't know. My favorite Venn diagram is Frankenstein, Dracula, and I think it's a zombie, and it's Jesus Christ in the middle. I love that.
It's funny because it's true.
It so is. And
it is.
Way off topic. So what were we talking about?
Frankenstein.
Social groups. What different kinds of social groups do you want to see, and do you want to see them all have different functionality or the same functionality?
I would like to see lots of different groups. I'd like to see a variety of combat-based groups. I'd like to see almost like, when you convert to raid. I'd like to see a sort of raid group being like a permanent thing.
Hold on.
Has that functionality. So then instead of like having
hold on a second. Pause.
Oh,
Sony Online Entertainment is calling me.
Oh God.
All right, hold on. Hello, caller. Caller can't hear me.
No.
Or the caller is trolling you. You're being trolled.
It'd be perfect that the first person to call me is a dev and the thing's broken. Oh, hold on, I'll fix it.
Okay.
Okay, and microphone is this one. Okay, caller, can you hear me? No. I spent 3 days doing this, getting it set up right.
Standard.
Well, for what it's worth, we can't hear them either. So,
Right.
haha, and neener neener.
Right, hold on. I'm gonna hang up and call right back. Let me fix something. You go ahead and keep talking, you guys.
Okay.
Different groups. What was I saying? Yeah. So the different guild functionality is almost separated out into different groups that you can join, and I think it'd be cool if those groups that were for doing a specific thing were quite fluid things, and then you could have groups that were more permanent structures, or that were more kind of general guild based, or more sort of social groups that were just kind of for doing everything. But within that social group, if you're going to do a raid, instead of converting to raid, you have like a PvE raid thing. If you're going to do some like open world, large scale combat stuff, maybe you could have like a separate thing. So you could have, or it'd probably be quite a similar thing, but ranks within that makes sense.
I can hear him now.
Oh, that's probably good. You couldn't hear any of the verbal abuse that I was giving you earlier?
No. Who's on the call?
This is Omeed and Dexella.
Hi, Omeed and Colette. Hold on. Let me take the headphones off.
Hey guys.
Might be an echo. Can they hear me?
I can hear you.
We can hear you.
All right.
Oh, there they are.
Yeah, but now there's going to be echo back.
That's fine.
Okay.
Congratulations on being our first callers. You must be very excited.
Yes. And they win a prize.
I am so excited, you have no idea.
Is the prize that one of you are going to build an Omeed statue?
Ah, yes.
Sweet.
Oh my God, I can barely hear them. You'll have to translate down.
I apologize. That's what I'm saying. I had to. I'm working on trying to get this figured out, how I can get it to patch through. And if anybody at Sony knows anybody who does anything with audio, that'd be great.
This phone technology is clearly It's still in alpha. We're not quite in beta release for this phone call thing yet. So we will announce beta on this phone call technology when we're ready. When it's ready, we will tell you.
Now the people can hear you. The people in the audience can hear you, just not Locke and Trendane.
Oh, good. So we can talk about Locke and Trendane then.
Yes, you can talk about Locke and Trendane as much as you want.
So I can't tell you how disappointed I am in Locke every time he says anything.
You can listen to it on the stream, guys, if you want to do that. Locke was, Omeed was saying he's disappointed every time you say anything, Locke.
Omeed, the feeling is mutual.
I love you.
Dexella loves you, Locke.
Oh, cheers, Dex. Dex is a legend. Everyone watching, she's so nice.
Mm-hmm.
Tell them what they want.
Omeed, on the other hand.
All right, so do you guys have questions? Would you like to ask questions of us?
Is there anything that you'd like to know?
I would love your opinions on whether we should reveal the next roundtable question during our live streams, or if we should post it earlier in the day and then talk about it in our live streams.
Okay. So Omeed just says, should they reveal the next question for roundtable during their live stream, or should they wait and do it earlier in the day?
I would say go ahead and reveal it. It gives people more time. At least reveal the question. Maybe not what the individual answers are going to be, but it'll give people more time to think about it. And when they see the answers, they can probably make a faster choice. I don't know why that's relevant, but
I think it would be cool if on the live stream they could talk about the question, but actually start talking about responses that they've already got from the community, because I think that could probably help stimulate discussion a little bit more. On the other hand, I suppose revealing it during the live stream would be a more exciting way to get it out there as a question. I suppose it's a trade-off. Whichever,
People in the audience are saying that revealing it during the live stream maybe will create a bias. So
yeah, sometimes people kind of have an immediate gut reaction that they'll throw into the Twitch chat, and you as well probably you'll end up with an argument in Twitch chat rather than people listening to what you're saying. They'll just be arguing with each other.
This happens to us all the time.
Plus you've got
it's how we live our lives.
And they've already mentioned how they've got a bit of, not necessarily disparity, but different discussions going on on the web forums versus on IRC versus whatever.
IRC.
And so I mean, it's very 90s. I know.
Yeah, very 90s.
So.
All the cool kids.
All right, so Locke, do you have a question you'd like to ask specifically to Omeed? Put you on the spot.
Omeed Doriani, it's an honor to finally speak to you, sir. Thank you so much. First, I'd like to say thank you so much for all your hard work with the community. Something I'm hearing a lot on the Reddit at the moment is the hype train does seem to have stalled for EverQuest Next. How is this affecting the development of the game? And will you be tendering your resignation with Sony?
He's asking because he's looking for a new job.
Yeah.
The hype train.
Can you... Omeed, you there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He's already tendered his resignation and is gone.
We have to wait for the to do the delay, so everything's slightly delayed.
Oh, there's a delay. Oh, that's right. I'm sorry.
All right. So Locke says I'm a bad person because of the hype train failing. So honestly, what we really try to do is for the visible people, for the high level people, Dave, Terry, Rosie, Darren, Jeff, myself, Colette, those folks in the executive team, we try to keep a really, really, really close link with the community and what's going on. And we try not to let other people get too much into the hype train, or when people get angry, because of the art style or the Holy Trinity, or when there's confusion, or whether or not there's news, because at the end of the day, those guys are all trying to make a game. They're not trying to get people excited about it.
Mm-hmm.
try to make it so that people can keep their heads down and keep working. So it really just affects me, and I go home and I cry at night when you guys call me jerks, and that's why I drink so much. But for everyone else here, like, everyone's just excited to see how enthusiastic people are, and what's going on in the community, and just every time something like this happens, it really lifts the spirits internally. So we do really appreciate that.
Oh yeah. All right, there's a delay for Locke too, so give him a second. He can hear it in a second.
Yeah, it looks like we're at the UN. And
Right.
he's, like, listening to the
You know what?
from the Saudi ambassador.
I'll tell you what, I mean, fair play for giving a serious answer to a joke question. And, I think that it really shows your strength of character, that you can lull us in with this false sense of security when in fact you are pure evil.
He'll never call in again, Locke. You bastard.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Omeed. I agree completely with everything that Omeed's saying, and this whole,
No.
it's just the internet, isn't it?
All right, so apologize. There's a bit of pausing here, guys. That's because we're doing. This is the alpha test of our phone-in systems. I'll get it fixed next time. I swear to God, it'll be better next time. I promise. All right.
But I want to thank all you guys.
I'm looking
and
forward to
everyone
hearing the
else
other half of this
participating in
conversation.
stuff. It's so valuable.
once the video is-
Really appreciate it.
Yeah, we love tuning in and seeing you guys.
You guys have a great weekend. We'll probably have some awkward, embarrassing photos from Dave Georgeson's Halloween party this weekend.
So watch Twitter for that.
Oh, will do. I just turned down the thing because Trendane was dumping a water bottle, and it sounded like he was urinating right into the screen. Thanks a lot for calling. Appreciate that. And we'll get this thing situated, and maybe next time we can make an official kind of thing, and we can have questions
Absolutely.
and stuff.
We'll talk more.
Yeah.
Take care.
Awesome. Have a good night, guys. Thanks.
Bye.
Good night,
Bye-bye.
everyone.
I didn't want to talk to them anyway.
All right. Sorry. I had to turn you down, Trendane. You sound like you were urinating. I'm like...
I wasn't.
He was excited.
I know.
I
Omid was...
piddled a little
No,
bit.
there's so many people in chat right now that would have loved to have had a talk with those two.
Oh, you were
Anyway, so I apologize, Trendane, and give you a chance to talk to him.
okay. I didn't want to talk to him anyway.
Omid says people often pee their pants when I talk.
Well, yeah, that's the animal instinct for sensing evil.
Yeah.
It's still.
Might not
I'm
want
gonna
to
drop
take
this
that
now.
as urine.
I'm gonna drop this now. I feel bad about the whole.
No, it's all right.
You do have a cruel sense of humor, though. So
We will. I'll fix this for next week, and we'll try to make it to where people can call in. But basically, he was saying, I don't know if you guys get a chance to listen, that he appreciates that we do this. Dexella was also saying that every time we do these kind of shows, it lifts their spirits and makes them really happy. So
Lifts their spirits.
well, I'm glad that we can give a little bit back, just a little bit.
I hear that. Lift your spirits, and I immediately get the intro to Altered Beast. Rise from your grave and save my daughter.
oh my god, that's been a couple years, Trendane. You're not going back at all with that one.
No.
What was that Sega Genesis?
Oh, quality does it?
No,
you know,
it was
the
before
classics
that.
never
I mean,
done. The classics
that
never done.
Right.
that was before, I think, well, not before ColecoVision, but I mean, that started out as an upright arcade game. And
Yeah.
eventually went to console.
Elf is about to die.
No, that was Gauntlet, and that was
I love Gauntlet.
stupid
first
shit.
one.
Shot the food. Yeah, but they
All
just abbreviated it to Elf. So.
Elf. Okay, let's get on with the questions because we have a ton of them, and we're heading up to 2 hours now. We're heading up.
Oh, wow.
How the hell does that happen?
I don't know.
Me and Locke, we just yak.
We do yak. Yakety yak, don't talk back. All right, question. In EverQuest's next landmark, what will make one plot more valuable or desirable than another? When is it possible just to swap servers and find a different version of yourself?
I suppose what makes it more valuable is what a player does with it. You know, I think as the world is procedurally generated in Landmark, I believe it would make sense to begin with if it was relatively featureless. We've seen in a lot of the time-lapse builds, like it tends to be quite flat and just not really much going on. So I suppose we'll go out into the world and find an area that inspires us and do something with it. And then, if people want to sell it on, then, and people want to buy it, that's, what makes anyone want to buy anything, really? How do you answer that question? But I suppose, it's if a player makes something that would be a desirable starting point for another player, or if someone had made something that'd be very good for a guild to move into or something, perhaps that could be something. Or if someone just picks up their plot thing and just leaves and goes somewhere else, maybe people will move into that. But it is a good question, but I'm not sure how to answer it.
There's so many cool things I want to build in this game, because somebody just mentioned Fortress of Solitude. You can imagine doing that in like some icy, snowy area. Wouldn't that be awesome?
Yeah. I want to build loads and loads of huts that look like first night Minecraft huts.
Just squares.
Just everywhere. Just litter the whole world with them, so people think it's a feature.
All right, Chendane, what do you think?
Well, what came to mind when all this thing came up was like, how do you know? I mean, with my luck, for example, I will go out, I will find a plot, I will plant my little flag and say, I claim this chest in the name of France. And
back to French again, aren't we?
Yes, exactly. Why do you think I got this outrageous accent?
Really ragging on the French today, actually.
Well, yeah.
Why? What's going on?
They make some good food, though.
They do. And cheese.
And mustard and
wine.
Fizzy wine. And chocolate. But then the Germans make really good
We're
chocolate.
talking about Omeed losing track on the hype train. We're derailing the show train.
This is why I don't play Rail Simulator.
Go in that corner.
You're killing the hype. The hype's dead. I'm gonna go and write a 2,000-word piece on Reddit about how much I don't care about this game.
So
No.
I would go out and I would, plant my little, claim my plot, and I would start. I mean, I would probably walk in and say, "Oh my God, this is exactly where I would love to put my little, kind of Dutch style wooden, log cabin kind of thing," and maybe try to mine for something. I would start mining, and there would be nothing but talc, underneath me, and I would try to build stuff, and as soon as I put the third block on, the first one just collapses into powder and everything falls apart. And I found myself thinking, so you don't know what's underground beneath you when you get there. It's not like things have been surveyed, right? You could have a huge emerald vein running through there, and something. There could be nothing running through there. There could be a vein of minotaur stool running underneath your house, and you don't know.
Real quick though. Are we going to be able to? We're going to be able to dig in other places. We just can't build things. So I think you probably could dig there ahead of time and look. Right?
But you couldn't dig someone else's plot.
Right, you couldn't dig someone else's plot. But they want you going out and mining and farming and stuff. So you probably could dig in a hole just to look down and say, okay, there's emeralds down here. I'm going to build my plot. This is where I'm planting my flag.
And then maybe you plant your flag and you sell it to someone else. Mm-hmm. So the value is in the materials with it.
The emeralds are down there. Sorry, Chendane, I didn't mean to totally take your thing. But.
No, that's okay. My stomach was growling, so that's fine.
Also, did you ever see that TV show where it's a load of those locker things, or they're like just garages or something?
Yeah, Storage Wars.
People have to bid on it. What's it called, Trendo?
Storage Wars.
Storage Wars.
Storage Wars.
They've actually got called out for being almost completely fake. Like they were planting
most reality shows.
They were planting things in those lockers.
It's American TV.
Oh my God, this thing is full of junk, and there happens to be a Mona Lisa.
Oh my God.
Oh wow, I bought this thing for $1. What do you know?
But it's cheap drama, isn't it? That's
very cheap
what
drama.
make it. Maybe that could be a fun thing for players to do in Landmark.
Yeah.
So in a sandbox.
All right, we got a really drilling one here from Mr. W.J. Bullock. Does Brad McQuaid's announcement that he is working on a true successor to EverQuest 1 have any impact on EverQuest Next?
Who?
That's what I said.
That depends. That depends completely on the art style of the characters. Nothing else.
Nothing else.
At all. That's the one issue. You know. No, it doesn't.
Steve McQueen, isn't he that race car driver?
Yeah, Steve McQueen, and he's doing a bullet.
It's the Brad McQuaid thing's still a very, very long way out. It's gonna be a Kickstarter thing. You know,
it's not going to get more than $1 million a year, that's for sure.
Yeah, the SEC just came out with a thing saying that corporations couldn't get more than $1 million. Now, there's actually somebody clarified it for me the other day, Trendane. So it looks like what Star Citizen is doing is fine. Any other future ones are fine. It's what some places not like Kickstarter were doing is they were selling shares of the company, and that's where the SEC got involved.
Oh.
So you would donate a $500 or whatever to crowdfund, and for $500 you got a T-shirt and you got 10 shares of the company. So that's the illegal part.
That's why I was asking, how does this fall into their purview at all?
Right.
Once you start introducing shares, then yes, okay, fine.
Yep. And so they're in whereas they said they can only do $1 million a year. Mm-hmm. All right. So I guess about the Brad McQuaid thing, I have no idea. Personally, I've not even seen anything about it. So WJ Bullock, if you could put it in chat, maybe like a link to what his plan is. I've not even seen anything about it.
And
I think it'll be great, but I think it'll be a very niche product for people that like that older style. In the same way that Shroud of the Avatar is going to be great for people who love the Ultima Online days, and Camelot Unchained is going to be fantastic for people who love Dark Age of Camelot. But all those games, you know, they're really looking back. They're like, you know, taking those features that have since passed, and some of them are great, and some of them, you know, shouldn't have ever left in the first place.
We talked about this the other day, or another show, but a reason a lot of us are so nostalgic is because it was our first fix, right? It's like our first heroin fix, and we want to keep trying to get that back. But when you go back and play those old games, they were terrible.
Yeah.
Spending an hour and a half in Ariak was a lesson for me that I don't want to ever go back and play. I don't ever want to go back and play EverQuest 1 again, because I was like, I love this game. It was just so amazing, and it was like it was the seminal game that got me into MMOs and blah blah blah. And I went back and played it, and I was like, oh god,
that's why. I mean, that's why I'm so excited for EverQuest Next, though, because they have such a rich history of designing great games, but at the same time, they're looking and saying, you know, it's in the clue is in the title. It's called Next. You know, they're looking and saying, all right, the technology we have now, which far surpasses anything that we had at the time of making. There's a lot of stuff they're doing now that I'm sure they would
dial-up modems for EverQuest.
What's that? Sorry?
EverQuest 1, we were using dial-up modems. That's how old the tech is for that. Real quick, Omeed just stuck a knife in my side and twisted it around a little bit. Dave Georgeson just texted me that we're all invited to the Halloween party.
Oh,
that I can't attend, and maybe Trendane can go.
They're having a Halloween party in November?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. I think it's a joke.
It better be, because otherwise I'll go down there. I will go down there. And if I show up, in a polar bear costume in San Diego and they don't let me in, somebody gonna die.
All right. Omeed said that this year's, it's tomorrow night. Oh, okay. So you can go, Trendane, you can go in your polar bear outfit.
I'm going to eat your face like a Klondike bar.
All right, so Trendane is going to be our official representative at the Halloween party. How far away are they from you? It's like 4 hours or something, right?
It's almost 600 miles.
Yeah. Okay, so it might not be something you can go to either.
I'll tell you what, Trendane, I'm going to be taking the private jet. So what I'll do is I'll go over the Atlantic. I'll pick up Domo on the way. Then we'll go West Coast. We'll pick you up
and then
sort it out.
He also said EverQuest 1 crashed the internet in San Diego. EverQuest 1 crashed my life.
Which is more important, really, your life or the internet in San Diego? I mean,
think about all the babies born because of EverQuest 1.
What are you talking about? I didn't have time to have sex.
I was just going to say.
I was talking about the other people.
Oh.
Filthy casuals with their physical relationships.
I remember those.
Yeah.
Before I discovered Telnet.
And IRC. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's...
It's the technology available now. You know, we talk about it all the time. Voxel procedurally generated world, you know, the emergent AI system, story bricks, you know, all of these things that are now possible, the action style combat, everything that is possible now that wasn't possible then. You know, this is how games are built. We all have an idea in our head of walking onto the holodeck in Star Trek, but we're not quite there yet. But as technology moves forward, we should be taking advantage of that. We shouldn't say, well, this is the time that I enjoyed games the most, so this is when they were best, and just stay there.
All right, I got to move on to the next question.
Nostalgia's about.
All right, so this one I cannot answer, but I'm going to give it to Locke and to Trendane. I like having Domo news on Twitter, but is there a way to get more Domo without the 80,000 geeky news updates every day?
No.
Well,
yes.
I get all the Domo I can handle, and I don't regret a single thing about it. So I don't see the issue.
Ooh, somebody says I should just link my summoning group to Georgeson's and I could just teleport there because we all know you're both wizards. That's the way we should do it. I forget all this other stuff. Forget it. Teleportation. Okay. As far as my tweets go, I apologize. When people follow me on Twitter, I give them a big warning. I do tweet a lot.
See, what I find amazing is that you'll be like doing the phone test, stream that you were doing the other day, and the tweets are still going out, right. And I'm watching you, and you're not typing away at that stuff.
I'm a wizard. I really am.
Is it?
I have my methods.
You're a hairy wizard.
I am a wizard, Harry. All right, we're losing people left and right now. Let's move on. Okay. Theater Elf asks. Oh no, wait.
Hey Elf, you rule.
I skipped one accidentally. Okay, we'll go to Theater Elf anyway. Do you think EverQuest Next will have 2 moons? And if so, how do you think it might affect the game whole day-night lunar cycle?
Ooh.
Okay, Omeed, how many moons we got? Can you tell us?
How will it affect?
How many moons?
Well, I'm just thinking what he's saying is like if it's 2 moons at night, it's sort of like 2 suns on Tatooine. It's like really, really bright during the day, and it might be really, really bright during the night.
It'll certainly affect the artwork for the sky.
The tide voxels will be affected by the gravity.
I think that's what he was getting at. Is it going to affect the lunar cycle?
I would be surprised if it did have a physical effect on the world. But with emergent AI, maybe some townspeople will be werewolves.
It could be. And we answered no moons, only space stations.
Just space stations everywhere. Mm-hmm. Thousands of them. Can't get away from them. Too many, if anything.
All right. Gore-Tech says, how do you think the targeting mechanic will work in EverQuest Next? Class tag targeting, like a format similar to WildStar. I have not seen much on WildStar. Do either one of you up on that game?
A little bit. The combat in WildStar does look a little bit different from a lot of what we've seen before. They've added in a lot of mechanics in the game that directly affect how you actually fight. It looks really interesting, actually. I'm looking forward to getting my hands on it and seeing what they've done there. As a system, it's very, very free form. Like the whole idea is, you're constantly deciding, the right moment and the right way to use your skills. And there's a lot of area based things, like sort of area based instant casts. Mm-hmm. But a lot of it's about dodging, and there's various ways to like break out of CC and things. So everything you do is incredibly active. And I think that's in a response to having the shortened ability bar that there will be in WildStar. So with EverQuest Next having a quite a short ability bar as well, we may very well see more kind of active abilities that are just generic abilities across classes. That could be one direction they go with, things like dodging and the way that CC is broken and things of that nature. To tie in with the whole heroic movement system as well. We're obviously going to be able to do things that aren't abilities that are on your bar in the classic sense of the word. So it depends how far they want to go with that, and I imagine a lot of that will come from testing and just seeing what works and what players are comfortable with. In a third-person game, I'd prefer a tab targeting system. I don't really like. I don't like clicking to attack in these kind of games as well. It was something that bugs me a little bit about some things, but that's just a personal preference.
All right, Chendane, what do you think?
Well, first of all, I think with the sunlight now a little bit less intense behind me, I'm going to try switching to single light in front of me so I'm not as washed out.
That's
Let's see
not
how
so
that
bad.
looks.
Yep.
Okay.
Looks good. Yep.
Good. Now I'm not quite as blind when I look at the. I don't feel like I'm in LA and like a tanning bed and everything. Just whatever. What were we talking about?
I forget.
I did too.
We were talking about different
tab
types
targeting.
Tab targeting, right? Okay. Personally, I have grown rather addicted to Skyrim's method of combat.
Yeah.
And it requires more skill. I mean, I can see things like magic missiles, if you want to call them that. You know, mentally, you have a target that you're locked onto. And so your missile's going to go to that target. And if your target moves, you're still thinking about that target, and the missile should still follow it. Mm-hmm. So you could theoretically shoot a missile around a corner, kind of. You know, but like an arrow shouldn't be able to do that, really.
No, that's a good point.
Well, that's something, you know, talking about technological limitations earlier, you know, that system existed because of technological limitations. You know, they didn't decide to do that in a design meeting. It was the only way that it would work. But, you know, these days, I think it's interesting now that Trendane's mentioned about the Skyrim combat system and it being more skill based. I do agree with that. You know, after I've been playing more shooters recently than I have been before, and you know, it's something interesting with shooters is it is very much based on the horizontal progression system that, you know, we talk about a lot in EverQuest Next, and I think the reason that works to a certain extent is because it's your actual physical skill. Mm-hmm. You know, obviously the equipment that you have comes into it, but it's your physical skill to be able to move and aim and position that is the deciding factor. It's not the numbers on your gear. You know, obviously your gun makes a difference, but then it becomes, you know, being in the right position to use your equipment effectively, which then, you know, ties into your own personal skill. So it's not, you know, it's not like the computer's doing the work for you. So that actually might be a good way to go if they want a more horizontal system.
I can see something sort of in between the two. Like, for example, if you've got like a conical effect on a spell, mm-hmm. and you are, or even if you've got like a crossbow or something, and you're pointing, you know, your character is facing this way and the enemy is here. I could see the computer saying, okay, that's close enough. This is probably what, unless you're talking about like an army of guys in front of you, this is probably what you're trying to aim at. This is your target. But, you know, a conical thing would catch all of them. But if you are facing the wrong way, the cone is going to go that way and you're going to miss everybody.
Well, they do have that built in right now. I mean, if you shoot a cone of cold or something like that and you're not facing the guys, it's not going to hit them.
There's a thing in Elder Scrolls Online, because they have the reticle system for, you know, for projectiles and things, and they actually have a soft targeting system where it doesn't like lock on your attacks to it, but what it allows you to do is effectively tab target something so nothing can block your attacks from hitting it. So you can always hit the enemy that you want to hit as long as you're in range and as long as you aim properly. So, you know, you don't get blocked by anything. I'm not sure if that's a physics thing. I imagine there'll be a lot
stepping in the way.
Yeah.
All right.
I think that's cool, though. I think that's great. You know, especially in a game that doesn't have, you know, tanks in the classic sense. I think, you know, blocking attacks in that kind of way would be a great thing to have as well. You know, we talk about enemy AI. You know, if an enemy mob could physically block us from getting to a more squishy one of its allies and, you know, be like effectively tanking players, I think that'd be pretty cool. I would like to see that. And I think we'll see more AoE as well with the destructible moments. Sorry.
We see like 20 questions. We're almost up to 2 hours. All right.
I can't be brief.
Speed round.
Speed round. Okay, next questions are speed round questions. Okay. Legendary Neurotoxin says, in EQN, should the vaults be semi-permanent structures that can be looted by enemies, or if the structures it's assaulted and damaged, it prevents players from building storage vaults in the wild?
Would that?
He's basically saying
this is the speed round.
Yes.
I could.
I know you probably could talk about this for an hour.
Talk for a week about this. Okay, so we're talking about an open world PvP system where you can essentially loot another another faction or another team's items without them wanting to.
Like if you
I
break into
suppose
the
in
vault.
certain like.
I personally think it's going to be a software type of thing. I think it's just a tie to your account, and even though it's really a vault, it really isn't a vault. Like there's nothing in it, and so for them to be able to break into it, all they're doing is opening up that particular structure. I don't think they're going to be able to rip off anything. What do you think, Trendane?
I think if it's damaged, like if it's cracked open, then yes, they should be able to open it. And when they do, they see that it's only their own stuff. Ha!
Ooh, now that would be mind blown.
Yeah, that's problem solved.
All right, so next question. With multiple guilds, depending on how they are separate, be they regular guilds or trade federations type of things, do you expect them to institute a perk system of sorts? Example, WoW.
As in, like, the way you level guilds in WoW?
Yeah, not only level guilds, but the perks that are built in. So, like, once you get to a certain point, everyone gets experience 2 times as fast, or, this is a horizontal progression system, so that might not be worth. But maybe you get cheaper prices at vendors or something like that. That actually could work in this game.
I like the idea of groups having progression attached to them. Obviously nothing game breaking, but that has to come through testing, obviously. But in a game like this where progression is important, I think anywhere that you can get it, I think it's good to get. And also it creates a little bit of stickiness in groups, which I think is good. Keeping people together. And kind of having group goals to work towards as well. So people aren't just saying, I want to go fight this boss because it drops this thing that I need for my thing. You could be thinking along more communal lines. And they have said they're going to be really blatant about encouraging group play. So it could be that's what Dave Georgeson said. So that could be one way that they implement that. And I think that's a good way to go.
Okay. All right, so now we got a question from Snowman Wilkie. If Zaphos and Trendane are ever both hosts on Into the Portal at the same time, how drunk would you get if you had to drink A, whenever Trendane does a wacky voice, and B, whenever Zaphos mentions bricks?
You don't have to combine those two to get absolutely shit-faced watching this show.
I'll tell you what, new drinking game, you have to drink every time a host has a beard.
And non-stop. Just basically an IV hooking up your arm.
Non-stop. Plug it to your vein.
So the only way people would survive watching the show is if it's just Tobran and nobody else.
I got that idea from Omeed. He told me that's the only way he can make it through watching this show.
All right, so a question from Omeed Dariani.
Never heard of
him. This guy. When SOE starts live streaming, what kind of things do you want us to do?
Chat, go nuts.
Yeah, chat. You tell us what you'd like to see them do.
And that's god.
Gameplay for sure. I want gameplay so bad. But I mean, okay. So I don't know. And
a co-op build on Landmark.
Yes.
Be live streaming. And you can all be playing like on a plot, and chat tell you what you have to build and how you have to build it.
Yeah, that'll work. You say, okay, who's got the best suggestion for us to build? Oh, a statue to Omeed, and then everyone just starts doing it on the chat. What are you holding your mouth for, Trendane? He's holding his mouth over there for some. He's scaring me. He puts the lotion on the skin. Anyway, I think like if they're talking about recently, like when they're going to start doing it, we just want to see something with the gameplay. I know you probably can't, but if anything, even if it's just your character, you don't have to be fighting anything. Just run across the desert for a half hour. I mean, seriously, that alone would be so great. Just running along the desert, jumping over rocks. I think I would be happy as hell if I just saw something like that. And it's not really in-depth gameplay. They don't have to fight anything. They don't have to show us digging holes or anything. Just run. I want to see the world. I want to see something like that. So that's my personal opinion.
I think maybe a few more. If they weren't ready to show like gameplay, maybe things like maybe animations of characters doing things, like maybe what a gathering animation looks like. We've seen some heroic movement across the surface of the world. Maybe we could see some of that underground. That'd be quite cool through a cave or something. A few more character animations things. Maybe even if it was just more concept art for different races or work in progress models. I think people would really appreciate just seeing. Any sorts of bits and pieces.
Afixes33 says SOE Emote Roundtable. Absolutely. It doesn't have to be the new one. Just get you three or two of you guys get on there with SOE Emote, stand in some place as Froglocks like I did on mine, and just do a whole roundtable talking through SOE Emote. I think people would be really excited about that. I
do. It's weird. I keep forgetting about it, but like every week when it gets brought up, the machinima for this game and landmark and other things you can do as well, because you got like human characters and things in there, like just what you could use landmark for in terms of machinima for computer games is, I mean, just imagine, like, you look at the things that are already on YouTube of things, people making machinimas with really tools that aren't the best for doing it, and now suddenly there's this whole new thing coming out where people are going to be able to go absolutely mental.
We just said that they will be showing a little bit of gameplay in their dev diary on Monday.
Reveal!
You hear first, everybody.
You heard it here first.
Thanks,
that's
Omeed.
Fantastic.
That's really great news. I so want that so bad. Omeed, I've used the same footage 450 times in my videos. I just want something new.
Well, this is, I imagine, the video that Terry Michaels was working on in Dave Georgian's tweet the other day.
Now's the appropriate time to pour the thing in the bottle there. Trendane. Just peeing
himself.
What I want to see is all three of them sitting at that same desk that they were at. Yeah. Each of them with a laptop, and all of them, oh my God, oh, get that thing. Oh God, look at that. And all of them doing their landmark face.
Yes. Landmark face. Oh, let's show it. This is landmark face.
Have you still got that queued?
Yeah.
This will be
Oh, now it's lagging. Okay. Oh, no, it's gone. Where'd it go? Where'd the landmark face go? It must have been one of those self-destructing JPEGs. All right, let's move on. Snowman Wilk, another one. If they are to go the way of SOE-approved mods only, are we going to see a rise of black market mods type of culture?
Yes.
Well, yes. Like naughty mods, like script kiddie mods.
I don't know about script kiddie, but maybe nudie mods or something like that.
I imagine there'll be like any unauthorized third-party program, and you'll just get banned for using them.
Yeah. A lot of those things are client side only, by the way. Those visual ones, like in the nude mods and things. Other people can't see what you see because it's on your client. So I don't know. Maybe
But you'll just get banned for it anyway.
Exactly. Stop looking at naked things on your own computer, even though we can't see what you saw. All right. Red circles are the tell in targeting mechanic, but what if higher tier mobs were able to pick up on targeting that players do and react to? Yeah, I think they're going to anyway, with the story bricks. Is what I'm getting from that. So Snowman Wilkie, we invited him to come on the show, and now there's 450 questions are all from him. All right, how can a game
he likes talking about the game, man.
Oh, it's fine. I'm just picking on him. That's what we do here. If we like you, we pick on you.
Yeah. Except Omeed, we actually. No.
And Falano says Geekdomo is an expert on the subject. Yes, I am. I actually did write the very first nudie mod for WoW. Just have to say that. Okay. How will a game like Landmark promote intrinsic rewards and limit extrinsic rewards? Vox Populi awesomeness. #.
This is about my most recent video on my YouTube channel where I was rambling on about intrinsic and extrinsic reward structures and how they
big words.
Yeah,
like diurnal.
It was tough, but it was about it was about like different ways to motivate players and having a retention plan. I felt like we talk about the gear treadmill a lot in World of Warcraft, but that is the retention plan. You get experience and you level up, and that leveling up makes you feel good, and then you get to max level and you get good gear, and getting that good gear and that progression makes you feel good, and all those are extrinsic rewards that are being given to you, and it's that kind of breadcrumb trail, and that it gets referred to as the Skinner box a lot of the time, that keeps you running on that treadmill because you want that hit, that feeling of like progressing. Now it's been seen like in more horizontal games, and even they don't even have to be particularly horizontal. Like even a game like Guild Wars 2, they went into it saying, we want people to play this game because it's fun. We don't want them to be, on this treadmill the whole time. And then very quickly after launch, they had to kind of go back on that a little bit, and it was a very noble sentiment to begin with. But in terms of player retention, if you do something 100 times, even if it is fun 100 times, 3 years later, are you still going to be doing it just for the...
I started playing WoW every once in a while. I start playing it again, and I keep thinking, oh, look, I'm in Durotar, and I'm just start leveling. And about level 3, I'm like, I hate this game so much.
Oh, my God. It's all...
Yeah. All right, let's move on.
So out.
Okay, next question's for Trendane. How far
Yes, I would
think...
love to see glass voxel so that we can defenestrate people.
Oh, defenestration.
Oh,
Omeed says we're doing great with our vocabulary tonight, folks.
That's
Keep it
why
up.
I threw that out there.
All right.
I'm trying, Omeed.
How far do you think EverQuest Next will take player versus player, and how far is making reward experience combating players through combat or economically going too far to be able to be grief, or too far being able to grief? So basically, I think he's saying, what point does it turn in from sort of a okay thing to do to where it's just pure griefing because you get more points by killing players?
That's very subjective. It's very hard to answer. Every individual player is very, very different. They all have different tolerances as far as what they're willing to take and what they're not. Yeah. For me, I can handle being griefed for about 10 to 15 minutes. And at that point, I'm like, you know what? I have tried to mine this damned piece of cotton or whatever. I don't know why you would mine cotton. But
it's really hard, heavy-duty cotton, iron cotton.
In the usual style.
Yeah.
Yeah, the usual way you mine iron.
In the usual.
How don't you do it? But yeah, I mean, it's very subjective. Every player is going to be different.
Yep.
So it's hard to answer.
All right.
It's weird. I love open world PvP, but I hate PvP flagging in games. I think it is silly, and I think it's a system that doesn't really work. I like open world PvP areas within games because it gives people an area to do it, and it makes the PvP players and the PvE players on the same server. And I did a video about this as well, actually. But if you can link those people together and make them important to each other, so you can the PvP players are useful to the PvE players and vice versa. You start getting kind of crossover and bleed and social interaction between those two, and maybe then you start getting people engaging in activities they might not normally do. But having said all that, being griefed in that way is incredibly annoying. If you didn't sign up for it, which I think is where the PvP flagging thing came from. But at the same time, I think it encourages grouping. Because griefers tend to be
solo,
lone, sad, depressed people that just want to see their kill count go up. which is their progression for them.
We just had another confirmation
they've set
from
themselves a target.
Just another confirmation from Omeed. You've heard it here first. They will have cotton.
They will have cotton. Reveals.
Yep. Into the portal every week.
For it, we got them right
here.
Into the portal.
Completely unique.
Biggest EverQuest Next reveals every Friday.
Every Friday they come on and they tell us all these little snippets. You let it slip out. Now we know they have cotton.
Come on.
That's what I loved about Vanguard is I would start harvesting jute and then I would move on to cotton. I loved it so much.
And flax.
Cool. And what I like to do for open world PvP is just build my character around killing the roamer characters, like the solo player killer characters. You just create like the build that destroys them, and it is hilarious. In Guild Wars 2, I made a Mesmer that was like the backstab thief's worst nightmare. It was so much fun watching them kill themselves over and over and over again.
On your
Yeah,
fake-
it
on
was
your
just
fake
well, just
characters?
running around. Like I'd love it. Like if I was just on my own, I was waiting for my friends to log in or whatever. Like I'd just run around in this build and like just wait to for thieves to try and gank me and just immediately wreck them, and they had no idea what was going on. It was hilarious.
Sheep are made of meat. Next question.
No,
Or
somebody said
me-
sheep was made from cotton, or cotton came from sheep or something. Okay, so Omeed was just confirming that Kjornervin doesn't know what sheep is made of. That's another confirmation. You hear it here right first,
right here,
right here, into
Right
the portal
here.
every week.
right now.
Okay, next one. Should there be in-game gambling in EverQuest Next Landmark? And what would more Twitch-based and precision-based combat be discouraged to gamers who reflexes may be compromised? So some disabled or older gamers like myself.
Is this 2 questions or is this?
It's a smush. I smushed them together because we're running out of time. Got 5
Gambling-
minutes and we got like 10 more questions.
Gambling in-game currency, yes, definitely. I think there should also be a system where players can make sort of deals between themselves, so they can gamble on anything, you know. But it's like a binding agreement between the 2 characters. I think that would be pretty cool.
I would very much like to see it. The best example that I have of a gambling kind of thing in a game is Keystone from Fable 2, I think. I loved that game. It's very much like Craps. Absolutely loved it. It was awesome.
Yeah,
That was
cool.
All right. Okay, so combat. Would more Twitch-based and precision-based combat be discouraging to gamers whose reflexes may be compromised, some disabled or older gamers, for example? Yeah, there is a community out there of people that are older and their reaction times are slower, and that, unfortunately, is just the way it works. And in a lot of games that are Twitch-based, like a Call of Duty or something like that, you know,
Battlefield just come out.
yeah, Battlefield. Older people are at a little bit of a disadvantage. It's not because we don't have skill. I mean, I might be very skilled at being a sniper, but I can't do the running, jump, flipping through the air sniper headshot that they seem to see on every single Call of Duty video that's on YouTube.
Or if you're like my father and you play like this.
Yeah. But don't do that, Trendane. You're going to be just like him in some point in your life. Trendane's like, click, click.
I think in MMOs, especially in games like this, the time to kill is high enough that sort of takes a bit out of it. I think the trick from a development standpoint is putting enough different play styles in.
Right.
So that maybe there are like quicker, more reaction based, you know,
Slower
classes.
people stand in the back and we shoot fireballs, you know. Stuff
Yeah,
like
exactly.
that.
For those real, like, you know, play for 8 hours a day, like, you know, esports guys that, you know, they really want to do that. But then, you know, if you can balance that with other builds that, you know, are designed to operate a bit slower, maybe, then, you know, you can create balance that way without taking too much away from those players, I think.
Is that why all mages are depicted as old men?
Yeah, because we're always in the back with the long bears. Fireball. That's from Lord
Next.
of the Rings.
No, it's not. Next question.
What
No,
was
it's
it from?
from Excalibur. It's the charm of making
That's
Merlin's
right.
boat.
That's it.
Oh, that's it.
Yes.
That's it?
I think so. Oh, no, more from Snowman Wilkie.
Hey, Wilkie.
No, that's right. That was it. Okay, never mind. Okay, so that's it. We finished up. We got 2 minutes, and we can do our wrap up, and it's great. We did it. 2 hours. Not bad.
2 hours.
All right, so what's going on with you this weekend, Trendane? Anything exciting?
This weekend, apparently, I'm supposed to get on a plane with you guys and go down to San Diego in a polar bear costume and eat Omeed's face like a Klondike bar.
I totally want to see that. Get pictures
I
of
do
that if you
too. I do too.
Okay.
No, this week I think we have a big furry costume dance thing in San Francisco. We have
We'll get
one
pictures
every
of that
month.
then.
So. Oh, there's always pictures of it.
All right, good.
If you just look up San Francisco Frolic, you'll find it.
I want to see a bunch of landmark face in all the pictures.
Doubtful, but no, I think I'm hopefully going to be able to do more voiceover recordings this weekend because it's been rather loud around here, what with Halloween and all.
Mm-hmm.
My next big thing, I think I'm going to try to do the voice for Iron Cotton.
Iron Cotton, the fabric of our lives.
Yes.
I went to school with a guy called Iron Cotton.
It's
He
weird.
was he was a weird guy.
All right.
Well,
Locke, what's up?
What's up? I almost forgot. This weekend is Extra Life. If you go to EQ Nexus, you can get all the Phantom X has just put it in chat as well.
Yep.
You can come along. You can win stuff that SOE's been kind enough to donate, along with other companies as well. There's Steam keys. I believe there's Nagi hats involved as well. So yeah, get on board. Please do give generously. It all goes to children who aren't very well, and you can make their lives better. And what else are you gonna do? What else are you gonna do with the money in your wallet right now?
Right.
You're gonna buy booze so you can play drinking games, watching podcasts. Don't do that. Give it to the sick
Give it to
children.
the kiddies.
So yeah, we're all gonna be doing that. And that'll be an amazing, wonderful experience for everyone involved.
All right. So that's exactly what I'm doing tomorrow. I'm going to be streaming on my own channel for my Child's Play, or not Child's Play, Extra Life organization. I'm with a different one. I do want to help out with the EQ Nexus guys, but I've already been assigned to another one, so I'm doing mine on my channel, and I'll be doing that most of the day, giving away keys, and I'll be on N4G's channel giving away all kinds of Steam keys. We have Hearthstone beta keys. We have a bunch of other keys to give away, so it'll be great. So if you guys want, just hop around and join the different chats.
You got Hearthstone keys.
I do.
Where's my Hearthstone key?
I'm sorry, man.
Oh, you're gonna give them away just to help some kids.
Yeah, help some kids.
oh,
You
suddenly
were just
don't-
talking about buying booze.
Week in, week out, I'm sitting here. You got Hearthstone keys. I guess we see where your priorities lie.
To kids.
I am
kids.
joking. For everyone on the internet watching this, that was a joke.
Yeah, he has to clarify
Go
that.
donate lots of money to the charity. Try and win yourself a Hearthstone key.
Yeah, definitely. So anyway, that's what I'm doing this weekend, and I guess that's pretty much it. My whole weekend's going to be tied up doing this kind of stuff.
and the clocks go back.
and the
For those
clocks
of
go
us in
back.
America.
Yeah, we're going back an hour. England's already there, so it's actually
Yeah.
early for Locke.
Yeah, cause some confusion today.
That's why he's rambling on so much, because it's
Yeah.
early for him.
I'm still wide awake. Let's go. Let's do another hour.
Another hour? Sure.
I could do that. I smell
I
rice, but I
can't.
could do that.
I literally cannot.
No
All right,
worries.
so everybody follow Trendane on Twitter. He is at Trendane. Everybody follow Locke on Twitter. He's Locke 6time. And don't follow me because I tweet a ton. And you're just going to see a lot of stuff. Like, I probably do like 40 to 50 tweets a day. And I don't mean to be so prolific, but there's all these geeky news I think is great. And I'm like, let's show that one and let's show this one. And then, of course, I talk with people and those are tweets. So, yeah. And, yes, this will be available on all of our channels to watch.
On YouTube.
On YouTube. And Trendane's is just Trendane. Locke's is Locke 6time. And mine is Geekdomo. It's all pretty easy to remember.
Pretty simple.
But I just got in a beta for SoundCloud, and I'm going to be having this available as a audio-only format on SoundCloud. I won't be able to do the older ones, but from this point on, I think I can probably put them up on SoundCloud. So, yeah. And I probably realized that the audio might not have been the greatest here tonight. I will take in and edit out the audio, make it a little better sounding when I do the audio-only version. So you might hear this as sounding a little bit better on SoundCloud. All right. I guess that's it, everybody. Well, I really want to thank Omeed and Dexella for calling in tonight. That was not expected. That was just totally on the fly. And next week, if they want to do it again, I will have the phone thing fixed for next week. So maybe we can send you guys some questions that you can have ahead of time, and we'll do that way. So it might be a little bit easier. Okay.
Well, it sounds like we're going to have a hell of a lot to talk about next week. So
Yes, because they're gonna announce beta next
if
week.
they want to give their input,
6-hour show next weekend.
they're very welcome. Especially since they're not going to be live streaming themselves next week. Maybe this will be a good place to come back.
Yeah, exactly.
Just saying.
Just saying. Everybody come back next week. We're here. We're going to try to do this every single Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern. What time in England is it for you?
It is 11 p.m.
Ooh.
in
So 9 p.m. your time. London time.
Queen time.
Queen time. And then out there in California, Trendane, what time is it for you?
Oh, it's Queen time here too.
Yeah,
All
But
day,
it's actually
every day.
2 p.m. 2 p.m.
2 p.m. All right. So thanks a lot, everybody. We will see you all next week. And until next time, see ya.
Be careless.